So lovely good evening and welcome to Camnet TV Main News. To present, my name is Jeffrey Ziambo. Top stories in the news tonight: water crisis in SHIBUYUNJI in need of urgent intervention. Disability Rights Watch warns abusers of persons with disabilities. Yali condemns Bishop of CHIPATA for refusing government aid. In international news, COVID-19 worsens living condition at Ghana witch camps. And in sports news, Kenya's RUTH CHEPNGETICH smashes half-marathon world record.
2021 has been described as a highly politically charged year. This is because every 5 years the country goes to the polls, and that 5 years elapses with only a few months remaining down to the ballot. The battlefield to appear on the ballot is becoming fertile. A lot of people are expressing interest of appearing on the ballot.
In all this, our interest is to put the duty bearers, the leaders, and those aspiring to task by asking the relevant questions.
If you're an aspiring candidate, be it councillor, mayor, or member of parliament, get in touch with us to get yourself on the verdict.
We go beyond speculation in dealing with policy and governance issues. The right questions are asked to help you make a verdict. For more details, you can call us on 0962 965883, 0979 753010, or email us info@camnettvafrica.com. Terms and conditions apply. Join us on Camnet TV
every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday at 17:45 hours
on a new program dubbed The Verdict.
Remember that Camnet TV is not just another channel.
Now the news in detail. A Lusaka resident has called on youths to be innovative in order to survive these harsh times. Thomas Nayambe, a waste collector who does the garbage recycling business, says it is sad to see the majority of youths turning to criminal activities in the name of survival. Mr. Nayambe adds that youths must use their God-given talent to think outside the box and create employment, adding that no youth should relax and wait for the government to create jobs for them. We have more in this report.
As an emerging economy with a population of nearly 18 million people, Zambia generates quite a lot of waste. Year in and out, tons of waste are generated in the country, causing relevant authorities struggle to efficiently dispose of trash. However, despite the fact that most Zambians regard waste as completely useless, there exist some business survey entrepreneurs who have recognized immense potential in waste management and have taken steps toward enhancing it. An example given is this man of Lusaka's Chawama compound who has for 2 years been doing this business. Recycling entails the conversion of waste materials into new useful products. The essence is to reduce over-dependence on raw materials for the production of new product. It is also considered to be one of the most effective ways to manage waste, prevent pollution, ensure a clean and healthy environment, and create wealth. But most laborers who do the most intense job of scavenging the materials from the waste dump site do not benefit as much. In all fairness, this is absolutely nothing compared to the serious work they put in, as well as the many healthy dangers they could be exposed to in the course of doing their job. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Women of Shibuyunji district are calling on government to intervene and help turn around the water challenges, as well as the provision of health facilities in the area. In an interview with Camnet TV, women of Chinchewo village in Shibuyunji have explained that the area has one dam, which also dries up in the hot season. Others also added that the lack of health facilities has resulted in women losing their babies after birth due to home deliveries. Meanwhile, Shibuyunji District Commissioner Jairus Simukoko has acknowledged the challenges of water in the area, stating that government is working round the clock to find lasting solutions. We have more in this report.
Beautiful as it may look for most Lusaka dwellers who think this is a tourism attraction, to the people of Chinchewo village, Shibuyunji district, it is the only source of water. The importance of water to humans cannot be ignored, meaning all should have access to this commodity. But this is not the case for many, especially those in rural and peri-urban areas. Shibuyunji district of Central Province has had the water shortage crisis for years, despite government putting up measures that can at least help the situation. However, the situation remains the same, if not worse, as the population grows. Grace Maimo of Chinchewo village, Shibuyunji district, lamented to Camnet TV about this, calling on government to urgently look into their plight. She says the area has one dam which dries up as soon as the rain season ends. As if that was not enough, the area is also in need of health facilities, which others claim have resulted in the loss of lives due to long distances covered to access medical health.
Problem yatu kuno kwa Chinchewo ni manzi amachoka patali, tinavuta maningi ya manzi. Bana bamaenda kuskuru na doti, sibasamba, sibawasha uniformu. Problemu ni manzi. Timatapa kutali, mukatapa chigupu chimozi, mupikila, muashila, musambikila ko bana. So bana bamaenda kuskuru na doti. Please, batate watu barungu manzi. Tu clinic. Ni kutali ukini ngati wadwala usiku lina mimba gatulibe njingo lomoto boti bakupereke. Zimayi bali kuleba timavutika. Pena ngo apapira munjira kali ku clinic ni kutali. Kapena uliweka bamuna bako bapezeka sibaliko kuti uyende weka ni kutali kunkala chepa nyumba bambiri timapapira pa nyumba na bana kuonongeka. Pena ngo amapitirira kwa peza ku clinic wasoba wenda naye.
But Shibuyunji District Commissioner Jairus Simukoko says government has made strides in the provision of water by sinking boreholes even if they are sparsely placed.
Regarding to the water and sanitation in our district, I think we use water in two ways, for domestic and also for agricultural purposes. Now, for agricultural purposes, we've seen we are surrounded with rivers around and streams. So these streams, for the past years, they've been drying up because we've never had receiving enough rainfall. But now we've got enough rainfall. You can see they're all flooded, and the dam nearby is also flooded. These are the dam provide water for livestock and also for gardening for the community around there. So we hope this year the dam will not dry. But we're just thinking. But again, as government, we have a program where boreholes are being drilled in a number of villages. So far, we've drilled a number of villages, and we are expecting 15 more, which will place them in different villages to sort out the water problems. Yes, there are still communities that are still drinking from shallow wells. We are still looking for partners. As government doing that, we also need partners to come on, also partner with us so that we can provide safe, clean drinking water to our communities.
It is the hope that the ministry in charge of water development will take heed of the call made by these women. Sharon Kalimbola, Camnet News.
The Disability Rights Watch has sent a strong warning to perpetrators of violence against persons with disabilities. Organization National Coordinator Bruce Choma says it is disturbing to hear of a 24-year-old girl living with cerebral palsy in Lusaka's Garden House area being raped by a known assailant and the matter almost dying a natural death. Mr. Choma says his institution will investigate the matter and has called on the law enforcement agencies to ensure they take keen interest in the matter to ensure justice prevails. More in the following report.
Raped without having to fight back, scream, or defend herself, is what a 24-year-old girl of Lusaka's garden house living with cerebral palsy had to endure. While her condition has left her without a say on her life, the laws are meant to speak on her behalf and protect her from all manner of harm that may befall her. This is the more reason justice needs to prevail in this case.
So na bwana siya mwana na mfana wanga kunyumba amena bwana siya pa nyumba na boleta ndi so pa na bwererako na peza mwana kulipe pa nyumba na mbomsakira kumsakira marumzi monse na peza kulipe mwana so na bwana gazi na chikapena chitabwanji anikonkamo akaanza kunikonka lero so nde vanti na bwata pusanira na mfana wanga evina anabwera pita so na nabwera mbubwera kanenenze na chitabwanji kanenenze na peleka ndio kwenda chitabwanji kwenda omuona so panenzo bwerera mu mbuyo so na bwana ngachape ku light mu chinyumba so na bwana ona muntu so muntu yo enze gone so enze choyanga na pansi so nje vana brush tabwanji na sanika tochi ya phone na tinonesese peza zona ni muntu aligone na kabagi kumbuyo soft na bwana fika pafupi ndiye kuona chitenge cha mwana chanenza na vala.
It is almost a month from the time she experienced such a traumatizing incident. The perpetrator of such a despicable act is now free and roaming the street, and one wonders how such a committer of such a crime is released without the matter having to go through the courts of law. The Disability Rights Watch, however, says it will investigate the matter further to ensure that justice is served.
We feel that it's important for the criminal justice system to begin to pay particular attention to these violations because a lot of them happen within the community and most of the victims are actually attacked by people who they know. In the case of the matter which was covered by Camnet TV, it was clearly a neighbor who is alleged to have committed this offense. And usually we've seen from other cases we've handled in the past that it's usually family members, cousins, uncles, people near the child who are responsible for these kind of atrocities. And we want to say that we are actively investigating the particular matter and we want to call upon the law enforcement agencies to ensure that they take keen interest in avoiding a miscarriage of justice involving girls with disabilities. Cerebral palsy and other conditions are very delicate conditions, and because of the nature of those conditions, perpetrators tend to take advantage of the girls because they cannot give competent testimonies on their own unless their evidence is corroborated. And we feel that in the absence of cooperation of the police service and other institutions such as the medical sector, which should issue medical reports, it becomes very difficult to prosecute offenders. And we want to warn all those who have a tendency of taking advantage of girls with disabilities, whether it's mental disabilities, intellectual disabilities, or indeed cerebral palsy and other conditions such as autism, to desist from that vice. Because
every human being has the right to life and protection, and those who cannot protect themselves due to their condition need the help of all well-meaningful citizens to be their right hand and not abusers. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Concerned Citizens for Justice and Human Rights Director Richard Nkua has bemoaned the continued rise in cases of defilement countrywide. Speaking in an exclusive interview with Camnet TV, Mr. Nkua has expressed disappointment that perpetrators have continued defiling children regardless of stiff punishments put in place. He has since called for a change in the law so that all defilement cases be unbailable. Meanwhile, Mr. Nkua notes that some families have contributed to the increase in the number of defilement cases being recorded by failing to report perpetrators. He has therefore appealed to all families that have experienced such situations to report any defilement cases to the police, adding that this will help in reducing the cases and protecting the victims.
We have seen a lot of a high number of defilement cases being reported day in, day out, and some of young girls are being killed after being defiled. Then they are killed. I think the best thing we're supposed to be done as a country, we need to stiffer the laws. Despite that, people are getting stiffer punishment by the course of law. But we still need, when these perpetrators, when they commit a crime, I think there is need of putting up a law so that that offense becomes unbearable. becomes unbearable, because what normally happens is that once they commit, once they are bonded out, most of the people, they do run away. When they are bonded out, sometimes such cases, they die naturally, death just like that. So our appeal to the government and other stakeholders is that we need to put our heads together so that the government, they can put up a law that can deter whoever will be found committing such offenses. More especially in the rural areas, the major challenge is that in these remote areas, they don't even know much about defilement cases. So we need to come up with a lot of community awareness campaigns that can help reduce the numbers of the gender-based violence cases.
Energy expert Johnston Chikwanda has advised government to seek audience with the oil transporters to ascertain their claims, which have resulted in a temporary fuel shortage. Of late, the industry has been greeted with threats of protests from tanker drivers over a number of concerns, which include difficulties being experienced when they travel to Mozambique and Tanzania to collect fuel. Mr. Chikwanda has therefore suggested that a task force be instituted to investigate the matter. He notes that the situation may be worse than it is being thought of, hence calling for a thorough investigation before lashing out on the oil marketing companies and the transporters.
What began as threats later on has culminated into actual protests, which is of significant concern now. I would suggest that consideration be given to constituting a task force with specific terms of references. This task force may collect both primary and secondary data locally and from specific countries in the region and conclude its work within 2 to 3 months. What could be fighting our local transporters could be far beyond the oil marketing companies' latitude. This is why it may not be advisable to swiftly attack them. If it is true that Zambian transporters are deliberately being delayed to load fuel in those countries, there is need to understand why that is happening.
Meanwhile, Transport and Communications Minister Mutotwe Kafwaya says tanker drivers should with immediate effect start delivering fuel to their respective destinations according to the presidential directive. The minister also states that the 50% allocation that the president offered to the Zambian people must be complied with without any further delay. Mr. Kafwaya says his ministry will ensure that the presidential directive concerning the welfare of tanker drivers is 100% implemented without fail.
Accordingly, the president has directed in the following terms. 1. That drivers should start delivering fuel on board to their respective destinations with immediate effect. 2. That the 50% allocation which His Excellency offered to the Zambian people must be complied with without any further delay. And 3, His Excellency the President has directed that the Ministry of Transport, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and the Ministry of Energy should inquire into the treatment of drivers here in Zambia and at the ports. This is to ensure that fairness and equity prevails. Following these directives, let me now assure the tanker drivers fraternity that we shall ensure the 100% implementation of directives, meaning that our ministry, working together with our colleagues in the other ministries concerned, we will ensure that the presidential directives actually implemented without fail.
The Zambian Institute of Governance and Civil Liberties Advocacy Platform, ZIGCLAP, has charged that the new cyber laws should be implemented fairly and not to pin down other people. Institute Chief Executive Officer Francis Chipili has described the bill as an important piece of legislation that is aimed at protecting all citizens and not a few individuals. Mr. Chipili has since advised government to ensure that people are educated and urged the general public to take keen interest and read the law. Recently, President Edgar Lungu assented to the cyber crimes and cyber security laws, whose main aim and objective is to ensure the provision of cyber security in the Republic, provide for the protection of persons against cybercrime, provide for child online protection, and facilitate identification, declaration, and protection of critical information infrastructure.
As far as the new act or the law regarding the cyber security, what we want to appeal to the Zambian people is that they should take time to read the law and understand it, and make sure that they do not break the law. As far as the government and the ruling party, we appeal to them that this law must not be seen to be targeting individuals or politicians. It's a law of the land, and as such it must be applied the way any other law is applied. This year is we are going into elections in August, and it's important that the ruling party, through its administration, the government administration, that they ensure that the citizens do not feel that the law was enacted in order to fix others. We have confidence in the government. We know they will do the right thing by ensuring that the law is applied fairly and that the law is not targeting any individuals or any institutions. And so, just like any other law, when you look at the cyber security law, in it there are some components which talks about issues of pornography. There's already a law that is already enacted, and those laws did not cause a lot of anxiety among the people of Zambia. So for the people of Zambia, they must not be anxious because this law has been overly politicized. What they need to do is to just abide by the law, just like they are abiding to any other law that is part of the law of the land.
The Young African Leaders Initiative Yali has described the stance taken by Bishop of CHIPATA, George Lungu, denouncing and instructing other parishioners and dioceses not to access any empowerment funds at the Ministry of Religious Affairs as unfortunate. Addressing the media Sunday morning, Yali President Andrew Ntewewe notes that the country is going through unprecedented challenges due to the COVID-19, and any help rendered should be welcomed. He explains that government cannot stop helping people simply because it is an election year, adding that the bishop's arguments are clouded in emotional political blackmail and are convincingly clear that the bishop is simply playing to the political gallery. Earlier this week, Bishop Lungu of CHIPATA, through a letter, instructed all the parishes in CHIPATA to reject the help being given by government under the church COVID response program.
His arguments are clouded in emotional political blackmail, and we are convinced that the bishop is simply playing to the political gallery. Government must be commended for the various empowerment projects that have touched almost all sectors and segments of our society. These activities have been going on for some time, as I have indicated. It is not as if these initiatives have just surfaced in an election year. They have been ongoing for the past 5 years, and to argue that this is political is simply to be politically compromised. We therefore call on all well-meaning Zambians, and in particular the church, to embrace these well-meaning empowerment projects for the good of our people. We commend the Archbishop of Lusaka, Alec Banda, for being magnanimous, humble, and apolitical in the affairs of this country.
You're watching Camnet TV, not just another channel. We'll take a break. We'll be back with more news.
Are you a qualified and skilled marketing person? Have you got the passion and motivation as a marketer? Camnet TV is looking for self-motivated, qualified marketers. For more details, please call 0962 965 883 or send your details to the email info@camnettvafrica.com. Remember that Camnet TV is not just another channel.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962 642 490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
The Electoral Commission of Zambia ECZ has extended the physical inspection of the Provisional Register of Voters for the purpose of verification of voter details. The extension of the physical inspection exercise will be conducted from the 3rd to the 7th of April 2021. If you are a registered voter and you need to correct details on your voter's card, go to the designated registration center and have your details corrected. During the inspection period, a registered voter can replace a lost, damaged, or defaced voter's card, transfer from one polling station to another, make a claim to be included in the Provisional Register of Voters if they were omitted. Remember to carry your voters and green national registration cards to inspect your details. If you are replacing a lost voter's card, carry your green national registration card and a police report. It is your right. It is your vote.
Because 2021, it is your time to vote. 2021, let's verify.
This message is brought to you by the Electoral Commission of Zambia, ECZ.
Welcome back. We continue with the news. Republican Progressive Party Secretary General Cassius Akapelwa says government should create sustainable agriculture policies for the sector to thrive. Speaking with Camnet TV in an exclusive interview, Mr. Akapelwa notes that most of the agricultural policies put in place are not implemented, hence the country is left in a crisis. He states that if the agricultural policies were sustainable enough, a bag of mealie meal would cost less than 150 kwacha. He says government should not boast about having put in place a good agricultural policy when the majority of citizens are still complaining about the price of the staple food, among other goods.
But those policies, have they actualized? You understand? Because if those policies were being implemented, we can't be going through what we're going through right now. The bag of mealie meal today is 150 kwacha. If those policies were sustainable enough, a bag of mealie meal today would be costing maybe 50 less of that sort. So the problem that we've had, I don't know really. If you talk about agricultural policy, we have very good agricultural policies. I think the Levi Mwanawasa government managed it, unless it's merely sort of benefits. So, because in agriculture, like peasant farmers, today, my sister, it would have been good enough that we invested a lot in the local fertilizer plants so that you heighten down on the prices of farming implements. But what we have, a bag of fertilizer today is 500 kwacha. How many people can afford that? How many peasant farmers can afford that? So you see, it's all about misplaced priorities. The poverty levels today are so high, beyond imaginable.
Lack of fruit farmers in the country has led to a hike in the prices of the commodity. Some residents of Lusaka have explained that fruits have become expensive, stating that they would rather focus their resources to buying commodities that will feed the whole family as opposed to fruits. Meanwhile, Fruits and Vegetables Association President Bernard Sikunyongana says the country lacks farmers to grow fruits at a large scale, forcing the country to import most of its fruits from South Africa. Details in the following report.
While Zambia is endowed with good rainfall patterns and many water bodies, the agriculture sector still lags behind as the country has continued to import agriculture produce from neighboring countries such as South Africa. The dependency on the importation of agriculture product has seen fruit prices on the market rise to record high due to the impact COVID-19 pandemic has had on trade. Bananas, oranges, apples, plums, pineapples, just to mention a few, have become expensive, forcing many people to substitute fruits for other foodstuff that will benefit the entire family. In a land flourishing with good rainfall pattern to cater for most fruits, the Fruits and Vegetable Association is now calling on farmers in the country to take advantage of the favorable environment and venture in the production of fruits at a larger scale.
It's depreciating, the rand is appreciating, or it has continued on the same rate for the past 3-4 years. So meaning ourselves, it will have no way out but to increase the prices. So this increment of the prices which you are seeing on the market on apples, grapes, plums, pears, whatever you are seeing which is imported from South Africa is because of the exchange rate which has gone up. Okay. When you go again to other fruits like oranges, we have only one farmer now who is doing oranges in dollar. Only one farmer, but if you look at the quality of that farmer, he's producing export quality. So if we can have such farmers, maybe 50 or 30 of such farmers, I can assure you that Zambia can reduce the importation. But at the moment there's only one farmer who is doing oranges. Plums, nothing. Grapes, nothing.
Fruits are an excellent source of essential vitamins and minerals and high in fiber. Eating a diet high in fruits and vegetables can reduce a person's risk of developing heart disease, cancer, inflammation, and diabetes.
The country which is a landlocked country, we are linked to so many countries and which are asking for this demand which the country Zambia is now not producing up to the capacity where we can have our consumption and be able to export. But we need serious people who can come and invest in this business. We are ready to give them information because this is our business the past 20 years. There's nothing else we are importing fruits and vegetables. So that information is available to us, true figures. And the government is free to say, can we meet? And be able even to woo some investor to say, where can they start producing this type of a fruit, looking at the rain pattern in Zambia?
While diversification is seen as the next source of earning the country's much-needed foreign exchange, farmers should take advantage of both the local and international markets to make wealth through the production of fruits. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
The continued depreciation of the Zambian kwacha against other major currencies, coupled with a high inflation rate, has continued to affect businesses and the local people. The Center for Trade Policy and Development, CTPD, researcher for public finance, has told Camnet News in an interview that the mismatch in the amount of money being injected in the economy and the level of production has been a contributing factor to the high inflation rate. Mr. Mata says there is need for a hybrid of policies from both the minority side and the fiscal side of things if things are to stabilize and inflation is to be lowered. He says the Bank of Zambia needs to moderate the amount of money in the economy to ensure that the level of money corresponds to the level of production.
There are some demand pull factors, and these factors have to do with how much money we are injecting in an economy that is not producing. So if you check the statistics from the Bank of Zambia, you'll notice that there has been an increase in currency in circulation, meaning there's more currency that is being injected in the economy without a proportionate increase in production. So from economics, when you keep on increasing the level of money supply in the economy without it being matched with an increase in production, what you have is a rise in inflation. So it's basically a mix of supply and demand factors, And for us to be able to attack the inflation rate, I think we need a hybrid of policies from the monetary side as well as from the fiscal side. From the fiscal side, the pressures really have come from a deterioration or what I would call a reduction in the fiscal space due to debt servicing costs. We are aware that the country has been servicing debts not until sometime late last year when we benefited from the debt service suspension initiative, but the exchange rate has continued to depreciate, thereby increasing the amount of money that was supposed to spend on debt servicing in dollar terms. So that has put a lot of pressures on the implementation of fiscal policies, which also feeds into the supply constraints that we're talking about. And on the monetary side as well, which speaks to the demand pull factors, that's where now the currency circulation comes in. The Bank of Zambia needs to moderate the level of money in the economy to make sure that the level of money in the economy actually corresponds to the level of production in the economy.
Zambia's High Commissioner to India, Judith Kapijimpanga, is impressed with the decision by Indian investors to invest $8.5 million United States dollars in the expansion of Texila University in Lusaka from the current $3 million US dollars. Mrs. Kapijimpanga says the mission is also proud of Texila University because it was being assisted by the Zambia Development Agency, ZDA, to find land to build a state-of-the-art university valued at $8.5 million United States dollars. She said Texila University was currently planning to increase student population from the 814 to 10,200 in the next 5 years. Mrs. Kapijimpanga said the university had created jobs, of which the majority were Zambians, in line with the Zambianization policy, and it planned to create 350 jobs by 2023. She was speaking when India's Kalinga Institute of Industrial Technology Manager for International Relations, Rahul Verma, held a meeting with the diplomatic staff in New Delhi with a view to seek higher education opportunities in Zambia.
DMI St. Eugene University from India has managed to have a huge campus in Zambia. The mission is also proud to inform you that we have another Indian university, Texila American University. The headquarters is situated in Bangalore. And they are currently being assisted by the Zambia Development Agency to find land to build a bigger state-of-the-art campus, which in intent will be valued at US dollar 8.5 million.
We'll go for a break. We'll be back with more news.
You know I can take her a bake.
Yes, my dear.
I was thinking of getting you a Bugatti on your birthday.
Really?
I'm quiet. My name is Yana.
Don't worry, man. That's why there is insurance.
Insurance?
You've heard me.
Not just any kind of insurance, but Savenda General Insurance, a company that offers superior customer service, highly professional and dedicated staff. We are not just any insurance company, but an insurance company that actually pays our claims. We cover, among others, fire, marine, aviation, engineering, agriculture, motor vehicle, and miscellaneous insurance. So, live life to the full, knowing that Savenda General Insurance has got you covered. Savenda General Insurance. Insurance excellence.
And why do you look so pale and busy scratching yourself?
Lamwandi, you know my skin is very sensitive. I've tried all the skin products and nothing seems to work.
Have you tried Oracle Pure Glycerin?
Oracle Pure Glycerin? What's that?
Just give me a minute.
Oracle Pure Glycerin gives your skin a youthful and healthy glow.
Ish, you're glowing. Don't tell me.
Yes!
I already know the secrets.
Oracle Pure Glycerin!
Try Oracle Pure Glycerin for that perfect skin.
2021 has been described as a highly politically charged year. This is because every 5 years the country goes to the polls, and that 5 years elapses with only a few months remaining down to the ballot. The battlefield to appear on the ballot is becoming fertile. A lot of people are expressing interest of appearing on the ballot.
In all this, our interest is to put the duty bearers, the leaders, and those aspiring to task by asking the relevant questions.
If you're an aspiring candidate, be it councillor, mayor, or member of parliament, get in touch with us to get yourself on the verdict.
We go beyond speculation in dealing with policy and governance issues. The right questions are asked to help you make a verdict.
For more details, you can call us on 0962 965883, 0979 753010, or email us info@camnettvafrica.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Join us on Camnet TV
every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday at 17:45 hours
on a new program dubbed The Verdict.
Remember that Camnet TV is not just another channel.
Welcome back. In international news, for years, communities in Ghana's far northern region have been banishing people they accused of practicing witchcraft. Attempts to ban the practice have so far failed. So neighboring areas have established camps to help those sent away from their villages. And there is concern that more people are being sent away during the coronavirus pandemic. In other news, still on the global front, as millions of people in Europe mark Easter Sunday, there are concerns about the slow vaccine rollout and more contagious variants of COVID-19. People are being told not to travel to see their family. France and Italy have reimposed lockdowns as European nations struggle to contain a rising number of COVID-19 infections. In Spain, traditional Easter processions are cancelled, but in Barcelona, some have been making the most of the weather. Al Jazeera has more.
Zakaria Parsi is blind and his health is failing. He wants to go home to live out his final days, but that's unlikely to happen. He was banished from his village years ago by those he once called his family and his friends, and they won't take him back.
A boy died in the community, and they accused me of killing him by witchcraft. They chased me out of the community, and I ended up here.
Many people in this camp have similar stories. There are at least 6 so-called witch camps like this in northern Ghana, housing people who are accused of witchcraft and chased from their homes.
Accommodation is a major challenge. All their rooms during the rainy season, the rooms leak every now and then. And then if you were in the line too, there are a lot of reptiles here and there.
Officials here say the COVID-19 pandemic may be one reason why more people are arriving seeking refuge. And yet, Ghana was the first country in the world to receive COVID doses under the COVAX program. But here in Gambaga, a 12-hour drive north of the capital Accra, many people simply don't believe in the vaccine. Instead, they believe in witchcraft.
We've developed a system.
The government and non-government agencies are running COVID education campaigns and hope the virus doesn't make matters worse.
People don't understand why a strong young man wakes up, gets COVID, have difficulty in breathing, have difficulty in pain in, the body. Suddenly, the young man dies. No, in the communities in northern Ghana, it will not be accepted. They will have to find out why. And they won't go to the laboratories to do a post-mortem. They go to the witch doctor, they will go to a sorcerer, they will go to a shrine, they will go to a fetish priest, and definitely they will find an answer, and the answer will fall on a woman.
Fewer than 4,000 COVID cases have been reported in Ghana's north, but officials fear the actual number is far higher and will keep rising.
Those who have taken refuge in the camps feel rejected and long forgotten, but more are arriving each day, and that is increasing concern about the spread of the coronavirus. As they are forced to share a smaller space, the risk becomes so much greater.
A weekend in Rome and people out and about enjoying the Easter break. But reminders of the COVID-19 restrictions are never far away.
It's been more than a year now since the first restrictive measures were imposed in Italy. We were probably among the first countries to confront this emergency, and people are tired, but they're aware that protecting health is essential in these times.
All regions are now classified as red zones. People can leave home to exercise or to visit relatives once a day. But police are checking nobody's travelling between regions.
I'm glad they are doing checks. It means something is working in this whole mess.
Over in Lyon, in southeastern France, this man was one of thousands getting a coronavirus jab inside the city football stadium on Saturday. With intensive care units as full as they were last April, the country's speeding up its vaccination programme over Easter.
For us volunteers and for the people who come here, these are quite stressful times. So by doing this, hopefully we can get through it more quickly.
From Saturday, there's a nationwide curfew between 7 p.m. and 6 a.m. President Emmanuel Macron says authorities will take a relaxed view this weekend if people travel beyond the permitted 10 kilometres. But from Monday night, they'll be checking such journeys are essential. In Spain, traditional Easter processions are cancelled, but in Barcelona, some have been making the most of the weather. Spain's still in a state of emergency and new cases have been rising. A new national law says people have to wear a mask outdoors, and gatherings of more than 6 people are banned in this region, but here at least they're taking a measured approach. In Britain, police forces have asked people not to travel long distances over the holiday, while the Prime Minister's issued his own reminder.
You can meet up as 2 households or 6 people outside. And always remember, outside is much safer than indoors as far as spreading the virus.
The speed of the UK's vaccination programme means the government's on track with what it calls its cautious, irreversible roadmap to freedom, but it's still urging the public to be careful. On Monday, Boris Johnson's set to outline the next steps out of lockdown. Nadeem Barber, Al Jazeera, London.
It's now time for sports news. In sports news, Kenya's RUTH CHEPNGETICH smashed the women's half-marathon world record on Sunday in a time of 1 hour, 4 minutes and 2 seconds in Istanbul. The marathon world champion sliced almost half a minute off the previous best mark of 1 hour, 4 minutes, 31 seconds set by Ethiopia's Ababel Yeshenani in February 2020 in the United Arab Emirates. CHEPNGETICH, 26, was followed across the line in Turkey by Ethiopian Yalemzef Yehalau of 1 hour, 4 minutes and 40 seconds, with Kenya's Helen Obiri third in 1 hour, 4 minutes and 51 seconds. Winning the race for a third time after 2017 and 2019, she pulled clear of Yehalau in the final stages to seal her place in the record books. This was the first time 3 women have finished inside 65 minutes in one half marathon. World record holder Kibowot Kandi won the men's race in a course record of 59 minutes 35 seconds.
Kenya's RUTH CHEPNGETICH smashed the women's half marathon world record on Sunday in a time of 1 hour, 4 minutes and 2 seconds in Istanbul. The marathon world champion sliced almost half a minute off the previous best mark of 1 hour, 4 minutes, 31 seconds set by Ethiopia's Ababel Yeshenani in February 2020 in the United Arab Emirates. Winning the race for a third time after 2017 and 2019, she pulled clear of Yehalau in the final stages to seal a place in the record books.
To end Camnet TV main news, let's take a look at the headlines once more. Water crisis in SHIBUYUNJI in need of urgent intervention. Disability Rights Watch warns abusers of persons with disabilities. Yali condemns Bishop of CHIPATA for refusing government aid. And in international news, COVID-19 worsens living conditions at Ghana witch camps. And in sports news, Kenya's RUTH CHEPNGETICH smashes half-marathon world record. Our Camnet verse for the day is coming from the book of Matthew 28, verse 6 to 7, and it reads, "He is not here, for he has been resurrected, just as he said. Come and see the place where he lay. Then go quickly and tell his disciples he has been raised from the dead. In fact, he is going ahead of you to Galilee. You will see him there. Listen, I have told you." We've come to the end of our news. My name is Jeffrey Ziambo. Until next time, bye-bye.